5 things I wish I had known about MDMA therapy for PTSD before my first journey. Hi everybody, let's go ahead, let's get into it. My name is Jill Sitnick. Welcome back to the Journey Sage, and this is the channel that I wish had been around when I was going through psychedelic assisted psychotherapy to heal childhood trauma, PTSD, because these kind of videos are what I really could have used at the time. So this is my healing experience. This is for educational purposes only. I get on my channel and I talk from my patient experience. So this is what I wish I had known before my very first therapeutic journey. All right. So first of all, I think everybody knows that I entered into this healing modality because of childhood abuse and neglect that evidenced itself in my mid-40s through a massive panic attack that I wound up becoming increasingly suicidal. So that's why I pursued this therapy. That's where the research is. This particular healing modality is backed by existing research, and there's more clinical trials that are happening right now. What I wish I had known was that the preparation was going to be really hard sometimes. When I was preparing for my psychedelic therapeutic journey, intention setting was super important. What do I want to explore? What do I want to understand? And for me, as a PTSD patient, I was incredibly hyper vigilant. I was scared of everything. What was basically happening was that my little toddler self, my little 3-year-old that was getting thrown around the room by my father, that 3-year-old was speaking up, saying, life is dangerous, everything is around to be scared of, and that's how I was living my life. So the preparation for that journey was kind of delving into those feelings of fear, and that's not fun. There's a lot of resistance that comes up when you're getting ready to heal. It's almost like my subconscious was kind of like, oh, red alert, something's coming. It's going to mess up the apple cart or whatever, because those strategies of keeping me afraid kept me from interacting with my father more and more as I got older, which therefore protected me from his abuse. So there is real resistance when you have established strategies in place. One of the ways I like to describe it is that sometimes preparation felt like I was pedaling on a bike up a really steep hill. And you knew that hill was there. You knew it was going to be a struggle. You couldn't see over the hill. You can't see the healing afterward. And so you're just trusting that this work of climbing, of biking up this hill is going to be worth it. And that can really be challenging in the weeks or days leading up to the journey. And I even find today, even with all of my experience and all of my journeys, I still get resistance. And I'm like, oh, that's what that is. That's resistance. I wish it was easier. For me, it's always been, preparing has always shown some sort of resistance and some sort of challenge. The second thing I wish I had known was that under this particular psychedelic, MDMA, I was still Jill. There were no fancy visuals. Some people do claim to have fancy visuals under this particular medication. For me, with a therapeutic dose, I didn't have any fancy visuals. I was chatty. When I listened back to the voice recording, my words weren't even slurred. I do remember making decisions that I didn't want to share certain things with my therapist and guide. I wish I had known before my first journey that I was still going to be Jill. I wasn't going to be blasted out into space. I wasn't going to lose control of my bodily functions or be thrashing around the room per se. This was a very peaceful therapeutic experience in a lot of ways. Certainly lots of trauma coming up and lots of discussions, but I never felt like I was out of control or that the actual MDMA chemical itself inside my body was causing any sort of discomfort. I wish I would have known that, because I had all the stereotypes in my head of what psychedelics kind of make you do or do to your brain. And my lived experience in that therapeutic environment was absolutely nothing like any of the stereotypical stuff that I had heard about. And then I wish I had known even I remember saying to my therapist, what happens if I throw up? Because I just thought it was going to be like ayahuasca, because I had never really heard of any other psychedelic. And my therapist was awesome. She's like, we will take care of you. Whatever happens, don't you worry. It was not even a concern of mine. That's, what you experience on different psychedelics can sometimes be, a part of that particular psychedelic experience. And so my MDMA experience, other than sweating, because, part of MDMA is actually an amphetamine, like a little bit of speedy. That's why people with heart issues need to stay away from MDMA. Other than, sometimes getting a little sweaty and needing some water, there weren't any really physical issues during the journey for me. And I wish I had known that, because I was in yucky clothes. I was anticipating everything. And then lastly, I wish I had understood that I wasn't going to feel any different right after the journey. So when I was coming out of the enhanced state, I was becoming more and more, regular Jill, and my therapist and guide, we had some snacks, I was hydrating, it was easily an hour of just kind of settling in after that enhanced state before my ride came. I was really disappointed. I was in tears kind of walking out because I didn't feel any different. I thought that something was supposed to happen. It took about a half an hour later, when I was in the car with my boyfriend driving, for me to start shifting my perspective on some childhood stuff. And it was at that point I understood how the therapy worked. I wish I had known to not be disappointed that I didn't feel any sort of relief immediately after. And so I hope my experience can help everybody else kind of level set their expectations that healing's going to happen. You just might not feel super excited and healed right after the therapeutic journey. It's going to take some time for you to shift some of those beliefs. So there you go. Those are the things I wish I had known, right after the first journey. It was like, oh, gotcha. This all makes sense. I didn't have any of these concerns or issues at the second journey. But for those of you who are thinking about this healing modality, I wanted to kind of share how I kind of went into the very beginning of my therapeutic process. If you're interested specifically in MDMA therapy for PTSD, I have a 5-day self-paced email course. Go ahead and sign up for that. If you're interested in healing child abuse trauma with MDMA therapy for PTSD, I wrote a memoir that kind of describes that year of healing for me. I wrote an intention setting workbook for those who are kind of getting started, and that works for psychedelic, psychotherapy, and also just regular therapy. It kind of helped me tune into what I needed to work on and focus a bit. And of course, you can always head over to thejourneysage.com. We got articles and podcasts and resources, lots of goodness over there. And so there you go. Until next time, take care.